As this invasion and war continues in the Ukraine, I've been thinking a lot about um, sort of the mental state of the man who started it, Vladimir Putin, and how important Angela Merkel really was to holding peace in Europe. We didn't realize it at the time, but I mean, she learned Russian at a young age, so she was able to speak fluently with him in his language, which the value of that in international diplomacy can't be underestimated. And giving him actual information, so he could get actual feedback, so he could know, that there would be consequences, and the world wasn't just the way he thought it was. And I think the Vladimir Putin of today is one that has entirely drunken his own Kool-Aid. Um, the videos of him talking to his advisors are hilarious. Like the distance, like the length of the it's out of a cartoon. The length of the table that they're sitting on the other end of, or the like throne podium thing that he's addressing them in this like far circle. Like, holy cow. I don't think the man has anybody that's talking to him that doesn't just agree with everything that he says. And that's a dangerous place. That's a dangerous place to be. Because if you get caught up in your own ideas about the world and there's no one there to like talk you down, then you can go some really crazy places. And I mean, we all tell ourselves stories. We all have approximate theories of the world. Nobody knows how everything really works, right? We have these these stories that break down in certain areas that aren't really true, but they're simplified versions of things that help us cope with the complexity of reality. But if we start to entirely believe them and then try and force the world to conform to the stories rather than changing the stories, the theories that we have to conform to reality, then we end up with war. Or we end up, well, I think about I mean, things that happen in just normal life. When you ignore people or things that don't fit with your story of the world, right? If you're so the I guess the it's like not talking to people who have different religions, right? Because they're heathens, they're the bad people. We can't talk to them about their religion because that would be, blasphemy or whatever. And then you build up these sycophantic silos of people who all believe the same stories, and no one is willing to say that's the emperor's naked. and Vladimir Putin has just built this around him, and there's no longer a major European leader that speaks Russian and has that rapport with him, and so he is isolated in his head. And this is the root of the darkness: believing stories, our own stories in our own heads, and not allowing the world to help us grow them into more accurate representations of it. Hopefully the war will end soon.